Hey, deserving listeners, Darcey and Stacey, let's watch.
No, I'm strong for myself. You're not strong for me. Yes.
Strong, and if you love me, you should walk away.
You can answer that for yourself. You can answer and do that for yourself because I know what I want for myself. So I
think she's done with the relationship, it seems. So, trying to reason with her at this point, I don't think it's going to work. His argument is that he doesn't want it to end this way. He wants to still work on the relationship. He is saying, hey, be a strong woman and, work on the relationship. He's saying don't be weak and walk away. I don't know if that's the best argument. I don't know if it's fair. She's going into that mode of self-empowerment. I'm stronger than this. My strength is in independence. You drain away my strength, and I am going to cut you out of my life because I'm going to be strong and I'm independent and I can do things on my own. And we've seen this 3 times on the show with Jesse, with Tom. With Jesse, it made sense, I think. With Tom, it made a little less sense. And with this, it doesn't seem to make any sense to be applying it to that. If she doesn't want to be in a relationship with him, then absolutely, break up with him. People's preferences for a partner is incredibly individual, and so she doesn't want to be with him. But it kind of looks like what she is doing is she's bumping up against insecurities throughout this season, and her normal ways of coping with that have been challenging for the relationship. She will accuse, she'll become convinced of things. She goes to her friends who convince her of things. She accuses more, he defends himself. She becomes paranoid and accusatory. Georgie starts to pull away. He tries to deal with it, but there's no kind of good way to react to being accused constantly, that frequently. And then when things get distant, because Georgie started to throw his hands up, like, okay, I guess because she broke up with him, I think, before she left the States. That was my interpretation. At least it was in that direction. And he's like, okay, I guess we're friends now. And then she interpreted that as like, oh, look how terrible he is to me, even though she was the one who was accusing him of things that he never did and being suspicious of him having cash in a sock drawer, which is bizarre to be suspicious of that. I mean, I just have to say, if I found in my wife's sock drawer, which I can't imagine why I'd be rummaging through there, cash, I would just think, oh, she's saving cash. I don't know. Who cares? It's her life. She can have a wad of cash in her sock drawer. Especially, I wouldn't think, oh, she's saving up to leave me. and she had that worry. And then he continues to show that he's in it to win it, that he's dedicated, even in the face of accusations and breaking up with him. Even now, he's still saying, look, I still want to work on this. I don't want to have the relationship in this way. But then she resorts to this stance that I think her and Darcey both know very well, which I think they use as a refuge, which I get because we don't develop those defensive refuges, as the plural of refuge. We don't develop those for no reason. There must have been a reason in the past where they felt weak or they were told they were weak and they said, no, we're strong. And this is their template for having to get through this process, which I don't think it really applies.
I send you blessings and peace, and I wish you happiness. So you can leave the key with Florian or the leasing agent, because when I get home from Turkey, it's going to be by myself. Thank you. I wish you well.
Well, I mean, it's cold, but I don't know what to think of. Well, I guess once someone crosses a line and they're just like, yeah, I'm done, then, I guess there are worse breakups than that. But optimally, in a breakup, we sit down with them maybe multiple times. And this is what I recommend. Usually the people who do the breaking up, they want to say, look, I'm broken up with you, I'm done. Now, sometimes that's best because the person you're breaking up with is abusive or harmful in some way. But I don't think Georgie would be that way. In a best case scenario, it's usually necessarily a messy process of meeting with them a number of times and saying, hey, I just want to say I'm sorry for breaking up with you. I was in love with you at one point. Things kind of fell apart at the end there. I don't know why. We could debate it, but look, no harm, no foul. I'm just ready to move on. You have that conversation. It's hard to do that as the breaker-upper. but I think we owe it to each other. I mean, it's not like you're breaking up with someone that you just barely met on the subway. This is someone you fell in love with. This is someone you live with. This is someone you were planning to marry, spend the rest of your life with. I think it deserves some closure, as people will call it, some grief, some understanding, because what it risks is both people separating. Because even for Darcey's sake, I think Georgie would benefit from that, but I think even if we're just concentrating on Darcey, if she could have conversations, friendly conversations after the dust settles with Georgie and learn, oh, well, even though we're broken up, he's not such a bad guy. Things just didn't work out. That can help with one's narrative such that you don't get even more paranoid in the future, because what she risks right now is he was a toxic person. He was sucking my strength out of me. He was just in it for the money. He didn't really love me. He was manipulative. He was gaslighting me, even though I don't think any of those things are true based on what we've seen on the show. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? If she has that narrative, which might be false, I don't know, then even more reason to be even more paranoid with the next person.
And as much as I want to be engaged and be in this relationship, I have to end this. I have to save myself. I can't. I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to be 57 doing this. I have a lot to live for, and I'm not wasting any more time.
Yeah, we've heard this exact same thing. And, God bless Darcey and her processes. None of this is volitional, I'm sure. But I think I said this before. If we watch another season of Darcey, because is this the finale? I'm not sure. But if we watch another season and she starts dating again, I don't know if I'm going to have any hope. I've had hope from the beginning. I don't know if I had any hope with Jesse. I think I knew when I started watching Jesse that she was done with him. So, of course, I don't think I had any hope for it. But when I started watching Tom, I think I had some hopes for that, maybe. But with Georgie, I had a lot of hope. I thought, wow, if anything's going to work, it's going to be this guy. In the first season of Darcey and Stacey, things were going well. If she starts dating again and I start, reacting to those videos according to your request, I don't know if I'm going to have any hope. Because if it didn't work with those other people, how's it going to work for someone else? If it doesn't work with Georgie, how's it going to work with someone else? And like I said, she has even more reason based on her narrative to be paranoid in with the next person, even more distant, even more suspicious, even more accusatory, even more defensive. So it's I feel bad. I've wanted Darcey to be happy now, maybe what she's saying right now is, look, I'm done dating. I'm 46 years old. It's over. Let's move on. And, maybe that's for the best. There's nothing wrong with that. You can certainly get your attachment needs met through all the other sorts of relationships in your life.
I feel sad today. After a call yesterday with Darcey, she break up the engagement. She says she don't want to be together anymore. And I'm really upset because she give up that easy. I mean, first of all, to break up in the phone is code.
Yeah, he's hurt. And he's saying, look, to break up over the phone, that's cold. It hurts my feelings. And yeah, I don't know. Under the circumstances, given everything that was happening, given that they were basically broken up before she left anyway, and then they start talking over the phone, things escalate, I think that, I guess Darcey could have said in her mind, like, I'm done, but I can't break up with him over the phone. I'll wait till I get back, and then we'll do it in person, But I don't know. Like I said, there are worse breakups than that. People will text people or just ghost people. And it's often that I will hear people, regardless of how anyone ever breaks up, that they will focus on the method of breaking up as some sort of crime. And I think it's a natural bias that we get into. We're in a relationship, we're desperate, we don't want to end the relationship. They end it with us. And as a proxy for the pain that we feel, we micro-focus on the method at which they broke up with us, instead of the bigger pain, which is they broke up with us. So sometimes I wonder if, regardless of how now this doesn't mean you can just ghost someone and break up with them. I'm not saying that, but I've seen people do everything right breaking up with someone, in my book, be sensitive and caring in person, and they will still get criticized for the way they broke up. They'll say, like, well, how come you're telling me now? And how come you didn't tell me last week? And it's like, well, I wasn't sure last week, or I didn't know if it was a good time last week. Or how come you worded it that way? Or how come you did it at nighttime? How come you did it at a park instead of something? I think there's this tendency to just focus on the method of breaking up instead of the actual breakup, because it might be easier to be angry at that than to feel the pain of the loss.
I'm not perfect, but she do many things that hurt me too. By talking with my ex-wife, and after all of that, to end the relationship from video call, that's wrong too. So this is feel betrayed.
Yeah, he worked, from what we saw on the show, which we can only use that as the data before us. I'm sure there's a lot of other data going on behind the scenes. From what we saw on the show, he worked hard. He worked hard to be patient, to take the high road, to approach her, to try to manage her accusations in a differentiated way. He was ganged up on. He was bullied. He was accused of things that didn't make any sense. A friend of a friend of a friend heard someone say that you are only in it for the money, and he's like, what are you, so I think it's been a tough time for him. And then to work hard, and then to be broken up with is just like, yeah, that's gotta hurt.
Will you leave Connecticut?
She asked me to leave the apartment, so I have nowhere to go. I just moved out here a couple months ago.
Right. I was thinking the same thing. Not that long ago, because of her paranoia, she was demanding that he move out of his house. And at the time, I was suspecting, although I don't know if he said this directly, that he was like, well, I did just meet her and we are having some conflict. So I don't know if I should give up my rental room in a home, because what if things don't work out? It's only a little bit of money a month. I'll just keep it just, for storage or something. And Darcey saw that as a sign that he wasn't in it to win it. She was very upset about that, and she demanded that he cut ties. And then he moves into her place and then swiftly breaks up with him and tells him to move out without any consideration to, oh, yeah, that's right, I made you move in and give up your place. Now you're homeless. He also gave up his job in town. So, yeah, he's in a pretty rough place. And, I don't know if it's Darcey's fault. At the very least, you would hope that she would care. I don't know.
I leave everything in DC. I move here for her. Right now, it's hard, tough for me, and feel alone.
And although it's not an exact apples to apples comparison, but imagine if the genders were reversed and we have a fella who breaks up with a woman, or a fella who's paranoid about a woman, makes her give up her place, makes her give up her job, makes her move into her, demands that she move into his place, and then over the phone breaks up with her in this very swift manner and says, you're out. I think we would say, wow, that's really not okay. And I think it's not apples to apples. Men have privilege. They have more oftentimes ability to get a job. Well, I shouldn't say that. They're less likely to be victimized when they're on the streets, but they can be victimized. Anyway, I just think that it's something, I don't know, maybe Georgie has some plan around the corner. Hopefully he does.
I don't think the relationship is over, because I know she still loves me, and she just hurt because she's been hurt many times. And that's the fear, to be hurt again. But I'm not giving up that easy, and I'm gonna keep fighting for love.
All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself, because you deserve it. You really, really do.